Hey, what's going on, guys? Jeff Koga here, and I decided to do this live stream and kind of help out my friends and people from my generation, the millennial. So this is a quick video and live stream on what every millennial ought to know about buying a house and kind of my confession on what happens in the buying and selling process of a real estate transaction. And I figure that I do this live stream to kind of give my confession and kind of tell you what's up. And I've been hit up by a lot of my friends asking me, what's your take on buying a house in this market currently right now, and what are some of the things that I should watch out for? So I figured I'd just record this video just for shooting from the hip and just to kind of give you my insight on it. And then at the end of the video, I'll kind of give you a question to see if you're interested in something like this, okay? So I decided to record this because I think our generation is definitely one of the smartest generation in terms of practical knowledge, right? Now, why is that? Is because one, we have something called Google and YouTube, and anyone that is smart, they will Google anyone. Like, for example, if you were to Google my name or even throw my name into YouTube, you'll see tons and tons of track record of stuff that I've done in the course of, buying and fixing and flipping houses since 2004, right? So when it comes to buying a house, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, people don't do their due diligence on making sure that they're working with the right real estate agent. Now, I'll be upfront here, okay? Confession here, okay? I am not a real estate agent, okay? I am Asian, all right? But I am not an agent. And I want to talk about this because they ask me all the time and says, okay, is the real estate agent I'm working for, like for example, you're on the fence and or you're checking out houses and you're trying to make offers to buy a house, and I get asked a lot and says, hey, why does it seem like my real estate agent is being a little pushy, right? To push this property versus some other ones that I want to look. And the truth be told is this, is that one, they have a professional bias, okay? What do I mean by professional bias? It means that their income is directly tied into you as the buyer, and because they want to push you to close that deal. Okay, why? Is because, again, think about this for a second, okay? In a typical real estate transaction, there's about 5% or 6% commission. So for easy math, let's use 6%, okay? So if we're on 6%, that means that 3% goes to the listing agent and then the 3% goes to the buyer agent, okay? So if you're doing a $500,000 home that you're making an offer to buy, that means that the listing agent, for 3% of what? $500,000 is going to make what? $15,000. All right. Now, on the buyer side, they're going to make what? Another $15,000. So again, if you're wondering and scratching your head and you're just like, oh my gosh, why does this agent seem like they're being kind of pushy, and it seems like, hey, you know what? This person is pushing me towards buying this particular house. The truth is, yes, they have a professional bias and they have an incentive towards that. So of course they're going to push you towards that. Now, other things is that if you ask them about, hey, what's your take on the real estate market? Okay. Of course they're going to tell you that, hey, everything is fine and dandy. Okay. Without giving you other insights on what you shouldn't do or what you should do. Okay. Now, a couple other questions that I get asked a lot is sometimes when you as the buyer, right? Like you're searching on the internet because you're smart. And if you're smart, you're searching for houses like on Zillow or Redfin or Trulia or something like that, right? So you're searching on there, and then when you search on there, you find a property that you absolutely like, and then you contact your agent, your buyer's agent, right? The one that represents you, says, hey, by the way, I found this. What's your thoughts on this? Okay, can I write an offer on this? All right, now what may happen is this, and which happens quite frequently, is that the commission that the buyer agent gets, all right, is set by the listing agent. I'll say it again. The commission that the buyer agent gets is set by the listing agent. So for example, using that 6% as an example, okay? So because we're in such a hot market currently right now, right? Some listing agents will say, hey, you know what? I will take 4% because we don't have any inventory, but I will only give 2% to the buyer's agent. All right? So what is that? What happens in the number wise, okay? Now the buyer agent at 3% is going to make on a $500,000, $15,000 versus if it drops down to 2%, then guess what? 2% of $500,000 is $10,000. So literally they take a pay cut about $5,000. Now, Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know, right? But trust me, there's professional bias involved in that, okay? So if you search for something and then you suddenly are wondering like, oh my gosh, why did that buyer's agent that represented me told me that, hey, this property is no longer available? There is a possibility and probably a probability that the commission on their side that they're seeing, they're just like, oh, it's 2%. So I don't want to show this house. Happens very, very frequently, okay? Happens very, very frequently. All right, so I want to make this quick video for you to let you know kind of at least two things, especially this last one that I talked about, right? And let you know that, hey, you know what? It's something that you got to watch out for. And here's a third thing. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about something that if you're interested in, and then leave a comment below, okay? Is this. Many of the people who are representing you as the buyer, okay, it's not just in this profession, okay? It happens in stockbrokers, you know, it happens quite frequently in stockbrokers, okay? People that you actually give money to invest for you, right? They say, hey, buy this stock, right? Is that many of these new age agents that are around the block, okay? Number one, majority of them do not own a home themselves. They don't own a house, okay? So they don't own a house, yet they're telling you to buy a house. For me, that's kind of weird. That's weird. I don't know about you. Okay, and here's another one, all right? And I said I was going to do three, but here's the fourth one, okay? Is that the median income for real estate agents, all right, if you go to salary.com and you pull it up, okay, it's a little over $44,000, okay? $44,000 is the median income for majority of real estate agents. Now, going back to that scenario of that 6%, okay, if it's a split going 3 and 3, okay, 3% goes to the buyer's agent at $500,000, they're making $15,000. Now, when they pull up the report, you find a house on Zillow, Truly, or whatever, and you find a house that you like, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And then the agent pulls it up, and then they're just like, oh, the listing agent's only giving me 2%. And if they do that, right, their commission drops from $15,000 to what? $10,000. That's $5,000 they have to take a pay cut on. So if the median household income is only $44,000, guess what? They're taking a 20% slash on their income. Now, is it any surprise why they're going to push you towards a different property than another property? All right, it shouldn't be. But I figured I'd record this video because not enough people talk about this. So I decided to create this. Now, if you are interested in finding out a little bit more of these so-called, you know, tricks that people play, I figured I'd record this and ask the community out here, if you're on the fence of possibly buying a house or thought about buying a house, to see, hey, do you want to actually learn more about these tricks? And if you are, I'm thinking about possibly holding a webinar to help a lot of the folks that have come out and, you know, kind of my way of giving back to the community that's been so good to me, since I am a millennial. And if you're watching this, you're probably a millennial. And if you are, and if you've thought about buying a house, what are some other things out there that you should pay attention to? Because, as I said, professional bias, they have a monetary gain directly that's impacted by your decision that you make. So if you're interested, I'm thinking about holding a training about this next week, about how you can avoid the pitfalls if you are going to buy a house. And then as well as some kind of my confessions on I want to talk about the dirty tactics that some agents use. Okay, now not to say that all of them are bad, okay? Some of my best friends are really, really, really good real estate agents, okay? And they do a tremendous job giving value to their clients, but there's tons and tons of other people that are not, and I've seen so many people get hurt about this. Because remember, buying a house is probably one of the biggest, you know, financial decision you're going to make in your life. And especially if you're here in Southern California or whatever part of the country you're from, you know you're putting down a good chunk of money on this. So, you know, hey, if you're interested in that training, it's going to be about 60 minutes to 90 minutes training. I'm thinking about holding about this and actually talk about the top 7 things that you should watch out for if you are interested in buying a house in the next 6 to 12 months. So if you are, leave a comment below that says I am, put I am, and depending on how many people say I am, I will make sure to hold that training like coming up like in a week, okay? So that's what I got for you. Hope you enjoyed this particular video. This is Jeff Koga, and I will see you at the training. Take care and bye-bye.